Hello and welcome to this Argos Multilingual webcast about terminology management and how this fits into your high-quality localization program. In this webcast, we'll explain why terminology management is important, describe how it can fit into your localization program, and look at the process Argos will use with your content, including how terminology should be controlled. So why should you be bothered? Imagine you're looking to choose between Windows and Mac operating systems for your home computing. Both systems can offer you similar functionality. Your choice is likely to come down to your personal preference. One important way in which an operating system can build your loyalty is by making the user experience distinct from that of its rival. For example, the recycle bin on Windows is called the trash can on a Mac. This isn't accidental. You won't find reference to the dock when talking about the Windows taskbar in any Windows documentation any more than you would expect to successfully order a Big Mac in your local Burger King. Product names aside, this is a question of terminology. Businesses need to deliver a consistent global customer experience in order to avoid diluting the value of their brand. By establishing your brand's terminology, you can help to build your brand's capital. By putting terminology first, you'll save money and time. Your in-country personnel surely have more urgent priorities than correcting terminology errors in translated content. Because terminology tools integrate with modern translation tools, linguists can automatically choose the right vocabulary without bothering you and your colleagues with terminology-based questions, preventing rework and shortening total localization turnaround times. What's more, when you have established terminology, those terms can be checked automatically when your language service provider carries out quality control prior to delivery to you. Your communications will hit the mark consistently, globally. If your business has tight control over its terminology, it makes switching between language service providers much more straightforward. Your terminology is an asset. You own it. Glossaries or terminology databases should belong to you. If you're unhappy with your existing supplier, any new supplier will experience a much shorter learning curve if you can give them your terminology databases up front. That's good news for your global business. What's more, if you decide to rebrand any part of your business, having a centralized and controlled terminology management system in place means that you're empowering those who are tasked with carrying out your rebranding exercise. Finally, localization process changes such as implementing machine translation will be much less painful if you have established agreed terminology for your business. And how can you get started? At Argos, we realize that one size does not fit all. Some businesses have terminology which is constantly evolving and growing. For these businesses, we update the glossaries with new terminology with every single project. This means that new translated terminology is added to their glossary constantly, resulting in a continuous approval cycle with their in-country personnel. When this is the case, it's very important to have a centralized place where terms are controlled. We have developed a sophisticated system which allows us to identify new terms, highlighting them so that the linguists working on the project know that they have to translate those terms as part of the project. Because these types of clients often have concurrent projects running at any given time, the system color codes those terms for translation or awaiting approval using different colors depending on which project they belong to. That way nobody gets confused about the status of a particular term. Other clients prefer a one-off approach. This often means that we'll create a localization terminology glossary based on their existing localized corpus and then only update its contents at agreed intervals. The key to terminology is to get started. Even small terminology databases of approved content will result in more consistently high-quality translations. Now, you might not think that metadata is a sexy subject, but when your terminologist turns to you with a feverish look in their eyes, it's normally metadata that they're thinking about. For a terminologist, metadata is key. Metadata will help to quickly identify how a term should be used, potentially long after somebody originally decided on it as a key term. An example, in the English language we have many words that have multiple meanings. According to dictionary.com, the word set has 119 different meanings. To make things more complicated, the same word can be used as a verb, a noun, adjective, part of a verb or noun phrase, or idiomatic expression. The word set is used differently in each of the following phrases. They set out on an adventure. She set high standards. The cutlery set was shiny. He set his watch. They were set in their ways. Or the question, are we all set? In order to establish or set the correct translation for the term, it would need to be classified using metadata. This usually means a database field which contains context and or a definition, another for the term's part of speech, and ideally others for the name of the person approving a translated term and the date they approved it. Beyond these basics, metadata could be as extensive as you want. You can include fields which mark whether a term is translatable, which product line a term is used for, a comments field, or fields which highlight terms which should not be used where applicable. It's important to set your set of metadata fields up front so that you're set up for the future. Your Argos terminologists will be only too pleased to help. It might be tempting to include everything possible in your glossary, but that would be the wrong approach. The emphasis needs to be on quality over quantity. Your list should include key concepts and acronyms which are commonly used in your business. Terms should normally be between 1 and 4 words in length, and shouldn't include prepositions and articles which can alter the meaning of the term in a given context. You should look to avoid duplicated entries or conflicting entries where a term is listed in singular and plural forms, but where conceptually the terms are the same. Your list should include compound entries in full. For example, in construction farming machinery terminology, the term loader, while a term in its own right, is translated differently in many languages in its compound forms, such as front loader, wheel loader, or backhoe loader. Be careful to manage the difference between product names and feature names carefully. For example, a product called slideshow might not be translatable, but when it describes a feature of the product, such as running a slideshow in the tool, it might still need to be translated. Be sure to assign owners for each target language. These people are then responsible for reaching a consensus and making the final decision on what the correct translations for terms are. Glossaries are quickly corrupted once multiple in-country persons make terminology choices based on their preferences at a given time, leading to inconsistent translations and a lack of coherent communications. Thank you for watching our webcast. For more information on how we can help your business to grow, visit us at www.argosmultilingual.com.